What up, boys, and welcome back to another balance change review. Today we're doing this in a sort of weird place. Long story short, I am currently sat in my car outside my home because they're basically doing like construction work at my home ish, but like my parents are. Yeah, they're doing that for the next couple of hours, and I have to get this video out in 3 hours as I'm currently recording this. So I've gone into my car. The audio is a little bit sketch, but I'm going to make it as good as possible as I can in post. If you hear any birds or passing cars, then there's your explanation. But yeah, let's talk about the balance changes. I've made a very pretty PowerPoint, as you can tell. It's not the best, but our first balance change is going to be the tornado. This is one we all knew was coming. Its duration is going down by 50%. Its pull strength, whatever that means, is going up by 100%, and its damage per second is going up by 100% as well. Now it damages buildings for 35% of the tornado's damage. So what this means is that the interactions actually stay the same. No damage actually changes, but the tornado is going to be done in half the time. I think it'll still have the same pull strength, but I don't really know. And on top of that, it now does 49 damage to buildings, which I've put it down as a nerf, but I don't know if it is. This entirely depends on what its pull strength actually means, because we don't have a metric for that. We just know it's going up 100%. But what does that actually mean? Who knows? So this change is entirely dependent on whatever the pull strength means. Tornado will either be completely dead and useless, or it's going to be absolutely insane and they've messed this one up. I do assume that it's going to be a nerf, because Seth was saying that they wanted to nerf the tornado, and, you know, they've definitely playtested this, so I'm hoping they've done it right and that this will actually be a nerf. And in my opinion, it needed this, but it's a weird way to go about it. It now does building damage, it has a weird pull strength, and it lasts like 1 second. Remember when Tornado was like 3 seconds? That was pretty insane. So yeah, we're gonna see how this card actually fares after these changes. The Royal Delivery is seeing a buff. Its damage is going up 27%, which is from 318 to 404. It now kills Bomber, and that's it. It allows the recruit itself to one-shot a list of things, but does it really matter? In my opinion, this is definitely the wrong change. It needed a quicker deployment time, not random damage, not just the ability to kill Bomber. If it's going to have damage, it needs to legitimately be like a fireball worth of damage, right? It needs to be very high for what the card is, and just killing a Bomber as a buff, like how often do you have a Bomber walking onto your side that you want to Royal Recruit? Not often, right? So the Royal Delivery gets a buff, but in my opinion, its deployment speed needs to drop this 3-second thing. It's so useless. Moving on, we have the Baby Dragon losing 8% HP. That takes it from 1024 down to 942. This is literally just generally less HP. It still survives lightning. I know like interaction with Mega Minion and Flying Machine will change, but you know it's just going to be, you know, a few shots shorter on whatever that is. However, with that said, I do think this is definitely the correct change. It keeps its core splash mechanic, but it nerfs it from being this big sort of beefy tank for 4 elixir that you can even play graveyards with, so in my opinion, definitely correct. The Magic Archer is seeing a buff. His range is going back to what it was before, but his hit points are going down to compensate for how powerful he was before. So he's getting his range back from 6 to 7, which is where he should be in my opinion. That's the whole point of the card. I don't know why it was ever at 6, but his hit points are going down 10% to 441. This means that he takes 1 less poison tick to kill, if that matters to you, and that a log and bar barrel will leave him at 1 HP. I think this was done very purposefully because they didn't want people to just run log and bar barrel to kill it instead of, you know, using a big spell as it's meant for. The log will take it down to half HP, and the bar barrel will just take it to the 1 HP needed to kill it. This will pretty much be as strong as it was before. The health nerf means almost nothing because, you know, you either fireball it or you don't. And if you're not fireballing or poisoning it, like, your troops were going to kill it anyway. It's very rare that a Magic Archer's left on 10% HP. So this, to me, is the wrong change, but the right direction. I feel like they need to nerf his damage or his hit speed opposed to his health, because his health at minus 10% doesn't actually change too much. Now, moving on to the Battle Healer, this is the one I wanted nerfed the most. Actually, maybe Tornado. This one or Tornado were the ones I wanted nerfed the most. So Battle Healer is losing 10% HP as well. This takes her down to 1,426. Single interactions stay the same. However, I'm sure there are a load of, multiple hit interactions that change. She's going to be generally 10% easier to kill, which is a good thing because she has way too much HP at the moment and definitely too much healing potential. So now her maximum heal can only do, 1,425 in theory, opposed to, the 1,583 she could do in theory before. So yeah, luckily, I think this is like the right thing. It's what this card needed. It was either that or it needed its, healing ability when it hits to be nerfed. This is good because it makes Battle Healer easier to kill, easy to take off the board, means you'll heal less, which is a good thing. Personally, I would just like this card removed from the game instead of them keep changing it because it is rather toxic. Now, Mini Pekka is also seeing a nerf, and this is one I'm sort of conflicted on because, yes, it's been strong in this meta, but was it strong in any other meta before? No. And was it touched? No. This makes me think it is just a product of the meta, meaning the card itself shouldn't be nerfed, and the meta around it should be nerfed, which is happening. So, in my opinion, this one, I guess, is a quality of life change to me. Its range is going from medium to short, which isn't a huge change, but it does minimize the dumb Mini Pekka range glitch. We all know when a Hog Rider is running away from a Mini Pekka and the Mini Pekka does damage from like 4 tiles away. We know what that is, and I'm hoping that this will minimize it. It won't fully remove it because that's not what they're touching. They're just touching its sort of initiation range. So overall, this one is also positive. Now, Earthquake is also seeing a nerf. In my opinion, this is a nerf. It is getting more damage overall, taking up to 203 total, which will be its Crown Tower damage now, I do believe, and its building damage is going down by 25%. So up 11 overall, but down 25 to buildings. This is correct because the concept of Earthquake is toxic, as I said in my Earthquake video. Just being good against buildings makes it so matchup dependent, and now it's more even against everything. I would like to see this taken further though. I would like it almost to be even what it does to troops and buildings, and them to find a nice sweet spot with Earthquake. In terms of troop interactions, it kills Ice and Heal Spirit now, and it kills Skeletons in just 1 tick opposed to 2. So actually it could be so much better as a small spell now. We often see Earthquake as big spell, but now it could even be small spell because it can take out those Skeletons in 1 hit. No other troop interactions really change. There are small things, like obviously it'll do more damage to Valk and stuff, but they're just general things I'm not going to list down for this type of video. It takes Tesla down to about 50% HP and Cannon to about 25% HP, whereas before it would have almost killed them both. So now it's more even against troops and whatnot, and not as good against buildings. This is correct, in my opinion. It's the right move, and as I said before, I'd just like to see this taken further. You'll see how this is affected more in the next couple of slides, but the spawners are being changed as well, so this is actually going to mean a lot to the spawner meta that we're sort of in at the moment. Talking of buildings, Goblin Cage is getting a buff. The Brawler's getting 6% damage, which won't actually do too much. It one-shots Wall Breakers now, which is very niche because the Wall Breakers are just going to spam into your Gob Cage anyway, so it's not really going to matter that much. And it one-shots Bomber, which I guess is nice, but again, how often do you really see Bomber, and how often is your Goblin Cage going to break at the exact moment where the Brute is going to run up to the Bomber and kill it in one shot? Very niche changes, not going to do too much to this card in my opinion. Now I've labelled this one as just annoying spawners nerf because that is exactly what it is. Furnace is losing 16% HP, Goblin Hut is losing 35% HP, which is huge, and the Barb Hut is losing 20% HP. No key spell interactional changes here, but this is in the right direction in my opinion. These spawners in general are just not fun to play against. They're losing a lot of health, but they now have a death spawn opposed to, months ago when they didn't. So in my opinion, this is... It's in the right direction. It might be too heavy though, but am I going to complain about that? Probably not, because who likes spawners anyway? So let's overview these. Other changes were noted in these patch notes, but I have no idea what that means. I don't know if there are actually any more changes or if this is it. I'd imagine this is it because there are quite a few there. Tornado will not be as dead as many people imagined, but this all is dependent on its pull strength because we have no idea what that actually means. Magic Archer could potentially return to his former glory because, as I said, the 10% HP doesn't even mean that much. So getting its range back is going to be very nice for him, and really it's just going to matter that he dies in 1 less poison tick to me. Battle Healer and Elixir Golem decks will still exist, but won't dominate the meta. There'll be more fringe decks, because the Battle Healer isn't going to be as strong. It's going to be easier to take out behind the Elixir Golem. But I do think these decks will still exist. I think but the combination is just too strong for it to totally die, depending on 10% HP. Mini Pekka and Baby Dragon will see lower usage rates that will show them being products of the meta opposed to overpowered cards. I definitely believe this one. Baby Dragon's maybe more overpowered than Mini Pekka, but Mini Pekka definitely is just a product of the meta. And yeah, I think you're going to see that these cards are going to return to where they should be in terms of usage rates. And maybe in the future, the long future, we could see them get buffed. Earthquake is now in a healthier spot and will be back to being more of a niche spell. And in terms of the spawners, I think it's good that they're going to be not dead, but they're going to be very, very, very fringe if you're going to use them. On top of that, I got some Season 11 fun stuffs for you. There'll be a free pass rail emote to all players in the game. Lava Hound, Inferno Dragon, and Knight will get emotes as well if they're your favorite cards. And the Clamor modes are changing to be Balloon Festival, Classic Decks, Dragon Hunt, Draft, and Triple Draft. On top of that, there's a new tower skin, as there is every season. You can see that on screen now. I actually quite like the King one with a little pokey out eye. Still don't think I'm going to buy it, but I think I like it. And then to review, I'm going to give these changes 5 out of 5. We rate them in the top right out of 5 every single month, or when I do these videos. And personally, I'm giving these top score. There are lots of changes for once, which is what we needed. I always complain that there's not enough changes, and this time we got enough. Most of them are in the right direction, even though it's not 100% what I want overall. I would have made some minor changes to a few of the balances that were done here today. Changes the meta a ton, which is positive because firstly, this meta's toxic, and secondly, it's just fun to have balance changes that actually change the game, you know? They focused on a few key areas that needed focusing on, which of course is always a positive, you know, the stuff like Goblin Hut, Magic Archer being dead, Battle Healer, all of that stuff, it was focused on, and it was done very well, in my opinion. And Seth's Twitter postings and rantings this month has been positive. Overall, positive. I've seen myself liking so many of his tweets because I've been agreeing with what he says. But yeah, that's going to be all for the balance changes today. Personally, 5 out of 5. Big fan of these ones. Sorry the video quality was a little bit weird. I'm trying my best. I know this PowerPoint format was a little bit weird as well. Usually I can fit all the changes onto one screen, but there were so many changes today I had to make an entire PowerPoint on it. So yeah, there's that. Let me know what you think of them, both in the top right in the vote and in the comments down below. I reply to all comments. If you do want to leave me a comment, go ahead and do that. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. But apart from that, peace.